Hi, everyone, and welcome to this new podcast of Furt'Her. So today we have the chance to host Alexandra Overgaag with us. I'm very happy to have you on this podcast, Alexandra. We met in a breakout session of the DLT talent, one of the evening session. And we had this breakout session that we spoke about different topics on Web3. And you were our mentor in this session. And it was very inspiring to see you there. And this is the reason why I also wanted to hear your story and how you entered the Web3 space. And if you can share it also with the community to inspire more women and empower more women into the space. So I would like to ask you first, like, what is your background? Do you have a technical background? Were you familiar with Web3 since like the beginning, or when did you start? How did you made a move into that space? Let us know a little bit about your background.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for welcoming me so kindly, and yeah, with this wonderful introduction as well in your very show, and happy to get in touch and connect with your wonderful community as well. Yeah, in terms of your question, maybe I would just quickly state that whilst I'm from the Netherlands myself, I live in Italy. I've been in touch with crypto since 2017. Basically, I started to invest a little bit in this space. My own background is mostly in law and in political science. I studied quite a bit before, let's say, what I'm doing today. I wanted to work in academia, actually, so I obtained a couple of degrees. Initially was mostly interested in how technology, and specifically AI, intersects with law and politics, basically. But then in 2020, 2019, I actually really realized that it was Web3, blockchain, and crypto that really can do so much and so many beautiful things for the world, for individuals, for the environment. There's so many cool use cases. And it was that moment, actually, I thought, no, I want to work in Web3, in blockchain, and not become an academic, basically. So that is kind of like how it all started. And yeah, managed to onboard the space. And yeah, these days I'm a founder myself, and a couple of things happened in the meantime as well.
But do you keep investigating about regulation or law in the sector? Is it something that you want to keep along your path into Web3?
Quite frankly, of course, you investigate here and there a little bit because, for instance, right, if you, us as a company, we are active in the Web3 space. So, of course, at times you need to do some research. Yeah. If certain things that you want to do, maybe if you want to launch a token, you have to figure out, how is the current law and regulation there and they're standing, and you try to do your own research. So I would say, yes, you always try to remain up to date with some of the regulations, but I've never been really a huge fan of law and regulations per se. I've always thought it's more interesting to be involved with the making of the laws. Hence, I was always more interested to potentially become a policymaker or indeed a researcher.
Okay, that's great. And in terms of like jumping into this space, which is a bit different of what we have currently on the Web.2, what inspires you? What aligns with your values?
That's a really, really good question, and a very broad one as well. The thing is, I think I just got quite disappointed with the more I was studying a couple of years ago, and we still see it, right? When we switch on television, the inequality between people, between countries, between, people who are born in certain countries, such as here, the Netherlands or Italy, where I'm based, and maybe some others that are unbanked, right? They don't have bank accounts, that don't have identity. Like, those were the first couple of things that I was noticing that blockchain could do from my kind of like financial inclusion thing. And that I think is very, very important. What I do see happening now, where you see more and more use cases of where blockchain technology and digital assets, crypto assets, are being used, even to enable other types of technological innovations, right? based on people's data that they can sell or cannot sell, or IoT. In any case, there's really a lot that I think that technology can do for humans worldwide. And that is actually what I think is really, really cool. And that is why I thought, wow, it goes really against the status quo of the whole idea of basically how power has solidified over the last 100 years or so across our world. And the fact that we as individuals and as communities can take back some of that power, be it through, crypto assets and no more, hopefully, deflation of the euro and the dollar, or indeed new ways how we can monetize our own data, kind of like almost this rebellious kind of thing. That is what I really, really like.
Okay, a change of the system.
Yeah, slowly but steadily, I hope.
Yeah, but at least there is some reflection. This is what also what impressed me when I'm talking with different people in the space, is that there is this thinking of willing to bring a change and willing to try something different, and to, as you mentioned, to redistribute the cards differently. So that's very interesting that it's also something that is resonating with you. That's very nice. And so there is a Web3 space, but there is also the fact that you're a founder. So you are an entrepreneur and you decided to launch your own project, your own company, Trilled Labs. Can you let us know a little bit how this idea came and what is it about?
Oh, well, of course, if you ask a founder for this, you can get, like, let's say, a monologue of like 3 hours, but I won't do that. No worries.
Let's try to do the pitch, the one that you have to do in 1 minute,
Yeah, of course. So I will just say it really quickly. Fundamentally, how it started is that I onboarded the Web3 space a couple of years ago as a professional, right? Working for a Web3 company on the business side of things. I was like, I want to get into this space. I'm not exactly how. I found this wonderful job on the business side, right? To grow a startup based out of the UK from a business perspective with new collaborations. I was in talks with investors. I was basically helping the founding team, right? Growing their startup in the Web3
if I can
space.
stop you, which was this startup?
It's still around today. It's called Radom. It's basically the decentralized Stripe. So it's a wonderful company. They work with big actors in the space, really, really great decentralized payments infrastructure and more. And I was working with these guys. And whilst I was, trying to learn about how business works in Web3, how is business being done with investors, with partners, with clients, I kind of like figured out that there's a lot of problems in how we are doing business with one another, how we are finding each other, how chances for connections and for success are actually really unfair if you look at it. For instance, you really need to know the right people to get stuff done. You need to know people on the inside. If you want to, I don't know, land investments for your startup, you need to know the right people. And I can just go on and on with this with countless kind of examples. But this was something I noticed, and I thought, wow, that goes a little bit against the spirit of Web3, of blockchain, right? That is all about transparency, about having equal opportunity, about really value that counts rather than who you know, where you're based and what you look like. So I thought, why not? Maybe I can create a solution for that. And then I came up with the idea for Trilled, which is the platform that we've built. And that rhymes.
That's amazing. But we know that like funding a project, it's like there is many steps into it. So you had the idea and then you started to launch it step by step, I imagine. And now where are you in the process of the development of your project?
That's a lovely question. Thank you for that, Lorena. Yeah, the thing is that I basically went first. This is maybe interesting to mention, in an incubator. So there are, if you have maybe a thought for a project, but you're maybe not 100% sure because it's the first time, there's these programs out there all across the world, incubators or accelerators, if you are a bit further on, that you can be selected for. And there's basically programs with people that help you, right? So I was lucky enough to join a really, really good incubator. And there I learned a little bit more about what it takes to grow a company and whatnot. I managed to then, after that, develop the idea, etc., etc. I landed some investments. as well. And based on that investments, we actually built the first prototype of the platform, which is a free and open access business platform for everyone who works in the space. And yes, we've been working ever since. Yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah.
Yeah, I have something else that I want to jump back, but because since we spoke about the fact that you entered the space through another startup in a business position, this is also something that comes regularly as a feedback to me, that women, they don't know if they can apply in those kind of startups if they don't have a background, a technical background. But just to reassure them, you didn't have a technical background. You found a position that was matching your skills and your career paths, and you could bring added value. I imagine that you were already interested in the topic, right? You have to have the motivation for the topic, but you can still be an asset for those startups.
I would even go further, and this is a really important point actually that you addressed, that no, I cannot code. I still cannot even code, or I don't have a really super, heavy technical background, even not today as a founder. So yes, I could onboard this business position without technical skills and then even launch a tech startup without coding skills.
Yes.
But I would even say that, if you are looking for a job in this very industry, just make sure that you're visible.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we spoke about this right now, right? That we just got to know each other a couple of weeks ago in this DLT Talents program, which I would highly recommend to women who are interested in, learning more about the professional aspect of this space. What they taught me is that you have to put yourself out there. So long story short, I put on my LinkedIn that I was super keen to get a job in this space, and the company reached out to me. They offered me the job. So 100%, if you just, you make yourself visible, there is a chance.
Yeah,
they just reach out to you.
And there is different ways to make yourself visible. You can you can do it online through the different platforms, or you can also attend more events and connect with people. That's also a great way to build relations and to get some opportunities out. Okay, that was one thing that I wanted to jump back, and now I jump forward again. Based on your app, I was thinking about your Thrilled apps. So what would be the link with the Web3 mindset? Is there any kind of DAO, decentralization mindset behind tokenomics, or something that will be applied that will reflect the mindset of decentralization?
Well, this is a really important question, to be honest with you. One thing that I did actually is that we have built the platform on Web2 initially, because so many platforms, products, and startups are being launched, and you are never really sure if there is, what they call product market fit.
Yes.
So if there is actually really the request, right, for what you're planning or what you're building. And I was also still quite inexperienced, and I'm still to an extent super inexperienced, right? So I thought, okay, I'm going to build the first on Web2. And now, actually, interestingly, we are making the shift towards becoming Web3. So we haven't announced this yet publicly, but we're going to launch a token that will have a true utility within the platform, obviously. With that token, we'll also do fundraising, right? It will also be used for staking for our community, for hopefully also one day grant programs. So the token is one aspect through which Web3 will reflect back. Another thing is, sorry, I think you wanted to say something.
No, I just wanted to say that it's very interesting because, one of the main challenge in Web3 adoption is the fact that it's too complex for people. It's too away from Web2, from the mass market. And starting with a Web3 product and then moving on with some Web3 features is quite smart to have your visibility and the mass market adoption to your product, and then move with offering additional features. So I like the way that you are building your product. It's interesting.
It's very kind.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. And yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I wished, maybe we should have immediately built it in a more decentralized way. But on the other hand, what I did realize now is that a Web3 company and a Web2 company, right? You just have to look at the tech stack. Like, what does the code look like? Because we can have a Web3 token interacting with our platform, but the platform will still be, let's say, normal code, right?
Yes,
Normal
yes,
code for Web2.
yes.
So I think it's really important to indeed then look at how many tokens does the team hold, the data that is being used, right, and generated. Where
Yeah.
is it hosted? On an
Yes.
AWS big centralized cloud provider? No, we are intending actually to move everything to Internet Computer Protocol.
Yeah.
In terms of ethical data governance, you could still potentially, as a Web3 company, just sell all the data, right, that you're gathering.
Yeah.
Well, we never did that. And in fact, everything that we do or that generates data in our platform, it's never, you know, refer to others. We don't even work with referrals or commissions. So even what I want to say with this, even nowadays, today, right, our platform is still officially Web2.
Yeah.
The ethos of Web3 has been built in the platform in the sense that, as I said, no commissions, no referrals, no selling of data, ethical data governance. We, you know, just trying to help people, free and open access available
Yes.
across the globe. So I still think that even Web2 products, etc., can still have the Web3 ethos, and it requires a bit of a kind of like study to see those things.
When you explain it, it makes sense to me because I know both. But a question comes to my mind: how can people then make sure that what you're offering is aligned with their values, and that, as you mentioned, there is different layers, that different features that Web3 can offer to Web2 services, but that can be mix and match. But how can this be promoted? How can the client will be able to know that the service has those ethical data management, decentralized data management protection? And I'm just wondering, because it's true that if you have a Web2 product with a Web3 mindset behind, I want to make sure that the public has an understanding of those key features that empower them, gives them control over their data. And I don't know if a kind of label or something like this could be interesting.
Yes, 100%. A kind of label or even framework, right?
Yes,
How you can be labeled as in more or less decentralized, more or less in line with the decentralized ethos even. Yes, that would be actually extremely interesting. I think that personally there is a lot of greenwashing or almost like Web3 ethos washing in the space. You see a lot, right, about this, keep AI, but keep your own data in your hands. But then actually, if you look at the terms and conditions, or, you know, the fact that maybe the company is full with referrals and commissions, and that therefore the business that they're proposing is not even ethical, you know, it's all about making money. I see a lot of what I guess can be labeled extractive projects and companies out there that fundamentally, yes, they talk Web3, they talk blockchain, maybe they're built on blockchain, but ultimately they just want to make the founders rich and the small community of early stage investors. So there's a lot to this. It requires study.
And this was linked to my next question, because then when you're the founder of a project, the goal is also to have a sustainable growth for your company. So I was wondering, like, what's your plan for Trill Labs to grow it in a sustainable way and maybe to live out of it? But what's your vision for that?
Wow, that's a big one, right? You're certainly not not proposing small questions. I love it actually, because they require a bit more reflection, which is very nice. I appreciate that. I think fundamentally right now for this year, the first step is really to increase all our different kind of like features.
Okay.
And what we offer as an app, basically, because if we look at what is Trill today, it's very simple. It's a free and open access app that is available for people to find each other, to do business in the Web3 space, collaborations, investments, etc. a very important part of this is actually our events department, because events in the Web3 space also use our app for attendee networking. So launching the token and making sure that the token has proper utility within the platform, alongside building out the platform, adding new features that we think that our clients and customers or users, I hate to say the word users, let's just say ecosystem likes, that is the most important thing. Over time, what I really want Trill to become is the #1 business solution for everyone in the Web3 space, or for those who are wanting to onboard the Web3 space, for those who are wanting to look for jobs and whatnot. And the most important thing is that we are, imagine it almost as a crossing between LinkedIn, Tinder, and some event networking app, and that then in a more fair and more decentralized and user-centric way. That's very abstract description.
It's very interesting to say, because indeed LinkedIn is losing a bit its quality of a network platform and become more a content platform. So it's going away from its first intention. So having a proper service and product as you're building for networking and like finding jobs and connecting with each other makes totally sense, because this is something that is straightforward and that has added value for the people who would like to move in the space and also build maybe in the space. And it's true that, for example, as founders also, you know, and I know that we need the network to be able to move forward. Alone, we don't go very far. And indeed, as we mentioned also earlier, in terms of our skills, everyone has different skills, but in order to build something complete, we need to match the different profiles. So even for me, when I build my community, the services and everything, I see that at one point I need to onboard other skills, other people, and I need to find those people, like that are in the space, that have the knowledge, that that are motivated also. So it's very interesting that it's a space that is growing, so there is room for networking, and it's also a space which is very international. So we don't get to see everyone easily in our neighborhood. It's an international business. Blockchain does not have a frontier, so so it's worldwide. So it's very interesting to be able to connect with other people interested by the topic and the sector at a worldwide level, because it's an online application. And I think it would be nice also as maybe to have some comments on each other, some ratings, so that would be nice as well.
100%. And what you said about the international part, this is already perfectly possible. So with the app, you can either look globally in terms of continents, soon also country by country, but also you can scope out, if at least you allow that feature, right, to work, people really close to you. So you can switch on a certain feature, and then you can check out who else is in the Web3 space that is on Trill actually close to you right
That's
now.
amazing. Yeah, that makes sense.
Nice for
because,
finding.
If you are even if you're traveling, then you can check where you are in the city you are visiting, then you can check around. That's amazing. I like it. Okay, great. Well, time is flying. Well, I want to ask you if you have anything that you would like to share with the community, like about your project, about yourself, future objectives, and where we can find you, how we can reach out to you.
That's lovely. Thank you, Lorena. First of all, for the wonderful questions. And yes, in terms of the final question, I would prefer not to talk too much about Trill, because we already talked a little bit a lot about this. What I would maybe like to mention are two things. First of all, that at Trill we try to set up a small female community for female business professionals, or those who are really eagerly looking for a job in this space. It's like nowadays a Telegram group, and we organize bi-weekly also meetups on LinkedIn with guest speakers, where we really try to kind of like help each other and spread knowledge from a professional business perspective. So if anyone who is listening, who is super passionate about the space, feel free to check us out. generally I would, and it's free, free and open access. You could just have to fill out the form so that we know who you are. Generally, I would say that I don't know if anyone who is listening is considering entrepreneurship or even looking for a job in a space, but I just wanted to mention here that, you know, just give it a try. Let's, especially for entrepreneurship, if you have a great idea, find the right people around you, do a lot of research. And what I would like to highlight is that I never thought that I could do all these things.
Yes.
I never thought that I could work in Web3, that I could land investments. I mean, I'm still like, when I'm talking on stages, I'm like, whoa, what's happening, right? What me? Why? I don't get it. So I'm just like, okay, if I can do it, any woman can. And especially we need more women, also men, but we need to believe more in ourselves to build together and better. And there's so much possible if you just believe in it and, you know, think strategically and cleverly. And that's just what I want to put out there, a call to action. And, you know, if anyone has any questions or doubts, feel free to drop me a message, and happy to have a chat with you, or, you know, maybe we can learn from each other.
It's very inspiring to hear your truth, because as you said, those are the things that we don't always mention, but the fact that indeed you're growing into the space, in a space that you wouldn't expect maybe to enter at first, but then you go on, and you see that you are able to face the different knowledge, challenge and everything, and that you learn, and that I always feel that the space is very friendly, and that helps a lot. That even though we don't have a technical background, but we have open mindset, and we have the willingness to learn, and it's a welcoming community. So it's also something that helps. I feel in Web3 is that friendliness that is around. So thank you very much for this conclusion, Alexandra. I was very happy to have this podcast with you and to explore the different point of views from the space, in the space, and